Hello, in this video we're going to discuss hosting and participating in a web conference using Microsoft Teams. There are quite a few components of the Teams web conference, and so we're going to go over a list of those, and we're going to create a session and actually go through how to activate and use each of these features. But just a listing of what you can do in the Microsoft Teams web conference. Of course, you have the audio and video capabilities, the text, chat, and reactions capabilities. You can add others into the meeting while the meeting is going on. So if you decide last minute, oh, this person needs to be in, you can add them in last minute. You can also copy the meeting info and send it to them. You'll also be able to edit some meeting options of how the features and the settings and permissions within your meeting. You'll be able to record the session, edit your background effects. You can also use a really cool tool called Live Captions, which will display the captioning at the bottom of the screen for those who might need it. You can also share your screen, share a PowerPoint, share the whiteboard, as well as have breakout rooms. So let's go into a demo of how to use this web conference. There are several ways for you to join the meeting once it has been scheduled. So one way is through the Teams application on your desktop. If you go to the calendar area, you will see that your meeting is located there, and you can double click on it and you can actually click to join the meeting there. If you have created the meeting within Microsoft Teams as part of an actual team, you'll see it in your activity feed as well, which will make it easy for you to click on it and join it. Another option, which might be useful for those that are just joining the session and not necessarily hosting it, as well as those that are not so familiar with the Teams application itself, is to go to their Microsoft Outlook calendar and join the team meeting that way. If they've been invited and they've chosen to add it to their calendar, there will be a link there for them to join. So as I'm joining the meeting, I'm asked before I actually enter the session if I would want to enter with my camera on or off. So I can choose to turn it on and have my camera on when I join the session, or off. I can also choose the background filters right here. Now this is something that I can choose later on when I actually get into the session. I can edit this as well, but if I choose the background filters, it gives me some different backgrounds I can choose. So if I choose blur, it just blurs my background to where you can't see specifically what's behind me. Or I can just choose these different ones that are pre-built in to kind of have a different look. I can also add a new background if I want to, if I have a particular image I want behind. So in this case, I added new and uploaded the image from my computer, and now I have my own background that I've uploaded as well. So again, you can choose to have that on or off. You can just have your regular background, or you can change this as you enter the meeting. So over here on the side, it is important that you choose the correct microphone so that it will pull the correct audio. So you might have several things open on several things that will pull audio on your computer. For me, I have a headset that I like to wear, but I also have a webcam that will pull my audio. So I want to make sure that I'm picking the correct one for that. And from there, I'm ready to join the room. So at this point, I'm in the room all by myself, but that's fine because there's a couple of things that I would like to point out before others join. First of all, up here in the top right is your audio and your video. So if I need to mute myself, I can do so here. If I want to turn my video back on, I can click here to do so, and then I can turn my video back on. And so I can just turn it on and off as needed throughout the session. Also, if I hover over this, you see I can go back to those background settings and background effects to change that we looked at before. Additionally is the show conversation piece, which is the text chat area. So that will open up and you'll be able to see the meeting and you'll be able to make comments. That will join here. Notice it tells you when the meeting was started, and it also gave my little comment that I put in the meeting request. Here you can attach files, do GIFs, as well as stickers and all those different things that you can add in also to the chat area. I like to leave this open as I'm chatting so it filters in, but you can also just minimize it for now and come back here. You might also choose to see the participants or add in other participants within the session. So if I choose show participants, notice that no one is in the meeting right now except for me. I do have some suggestions. These two people are suggestions because they're actually part of the team in which I created this session. So I created this planning team with the D2L team, and the D2L team itself are these two people. So it makes it that's why they are people who are suggested. Now I can choose to click them to request to join. That'll send them a message asking them to join the session. I can also invite someone in from right here. So what happens if we're in the session, we're in the meeting, everybody's joining, and I think, uh-oh, I forgot to invite this person. I can come right here to the participant panel and then type in their information here. And I can find them and request that they join, and that will send them a notification. So it's kind of an impromptu thing. Another avenue for inviting people is I can do share invite, and I can copy that meeting link and send it out to people or post it somewhere, or I can share that email that gets sent to them. So that's another way that you can invite somebody impromptu into the session. Additionally, I'm able to come up here to more actions, and I'm able to choose meeting info, and then this will give me all the meeting info that was originally there, and I can copy the join info and then send that out to other people if needed to impromptu join the session. So before my next person joins, I want to go ahead and start the recorder. Notice here in the top left, it shows you how long the session has been going on, but I do want to start my recording, so I'm going to choose more actions, and I'm going to choose start recording. And this little icon lets me know that it has begun the recording. And so you see this little message pop up with that. Now, while others are asking to join, let's look at some meeting settings that you might want to alter based upon the type of meeting that you're having. So we'll choose more actions, and we'll choose meeting options. Now this is going to give you some settings that you can choose from. So here, who can bypass the lobby? The lobby is an area that is like a holding ground before the people actually get into the meeting here. It's like a safeguard really, because you don't want just any random person getting the link to your session, joining it, and being able to get right into the session. So with the lobby, it kind of puts them in a holding area, and it lets you know that somebody's in the holding tank or in the lobby, and you have to go in there. You just have to click and say yes, they can come into the session, and it will allow them in. But again, it's a safeguard. So you can choose who you want to be able to bypass the lobby. If you don't want a lobby at all and you just want everybody to come in as soon as they click on the link, then you can choose everyone. If you want every person to have to go through the lobby, then you might have only me is able to bypass it. So you have different options here. Another important option is who can present. So as of right now, everyone can be a presenter. Everyone has the option to share their screen, upload files, that kind of thing. Now that works well in a truly collaborative environment where everyone in the team is really working together and showing different artifacts. In a case to where you're more or less lecturing or presenting materials and everyone else is just watching, you might want to make it to where only I am the only one that can present and share that information. Everyone else can just view. It might be the case that you only want certain people to be able to present. So in that case, I'll choose specific people, and then I'll type in their name, and if they're in the session, it will allow them to become presenters in the session. And so in this case, this person hasn't entered the session yet, so they can't be added. But that would be, I could add them in as a presenter in the session if they were already in the session, and that would allow them to share their screen and perform those duties. Lastly, you can choose if you want people to have their mic and camera allowed for these sessions as these people are attending. Do you want them to be able to turn on their camera? In cases of you're afraid of connectivity issues, or you just don't want people turning on their camera, have the ability to, you can slide this off to where none of the attendees can turn on their cameras. And again, this is something you might want to go in before anyone else joins the session and go ahead and fix these meeting options so you have them set for the meeting. So I'm going to save those so that those are in effect. So now I see that someone is waiting in the lobby, and this was because I selected to have everyone have to wait in the lobby. So this is where I mean that someone is waiting and we have to welcome them in or allow them in. So I'll view the lobby, and here I can just choose to accept or deny those in. So I know who those are. I'm going to admit them in. So that is what the lobby does, is it just holds them there until someone in the meeting accepts them in. So notice when a chat comes in, if you don't already have your chat opened, you'll see a little dot come up on the show conversation. So you can click on that and you'll be able to see messages coming through that way. Now that everyone's in the session, you can also turn on meeting notes. So we can go to more actions and choose meeting notes. And this is an area where notes can be taken by the group that can be viewed later. So we'll just have the notes turned on. And within this, probably not the presenter, but you might have someone taking notes about what's happening in the session. And so this will be something that maybe a guest in the session could do while the presenter is doing the majority of the presenting. Another neat and accessible tool is the captioning. So you can turn on the captions by going to more actions and then turn on live captions. And essentially what this will do is in a second it's going to start using the auto captioning here. So it's going to say the name of whoever is the one speaking or whoever the audio feed's coming from, and it's going to just display what is being said right here on the screen. And again, this is great for accessibility concerns for those who might have hearing impairments, but it's also great for those who might have a device to where their speakers aren't currently working. At least they can follow along somewhat with the captions. So again, that can be turned on and off through more actions and then turn on or off live captions. You might also be interested in sharing content with during the meeting. And so to do that, up in the top right corner, you'll have share content. So here you have the option of sharing your screen. You have options of sharing PowerPoints as well as the whiteboard. So let's choose to share our screen to begin with. So here we can choose to share screen. We can choose which screen you want to share because I actually have two screens at this point. So I want to pull up the website that I want to record or want to show in the session, and I'm going to select it. You also have the option of having just the content being shown, or you have the option of having your content being shown and your webcam being shown in the bottom corner there. So it depends on if you want them to see you while you're presenting or if you're okay with them just seeing the screen and hearing your voice. So in this case, I'm going to choose I want to share this screen. And then it begins to share my screen. Now I actually have two screens, so it's sharing what's on my other screen, which you can't see in the video, but it's sharing what is on my other screen. So this is what's on my other screen. So while I'm seeing the website, the people in my meeting are also seeing the website as we are moving forward. So there is a little bit of some difficulty in that if you only have one screen, you're seeing only what you're sharing, rather than if you have two screens. On one screen you'll see this, and then on the other screen you'll see your main meeting area, which will allow you to follow the chat. So if you are sharing your screen, it might be worth having someone else in the team monitor the chat, because it is difficult to see it if you only have one screen. Also, it is very important if you are going to be playing a video through the speakers or through the presentation. So say that I am going to YouTube and I want the team to watch a YouTube video all together, and I want them to be able to hear the audio. You want to make sure that when you're sharing your screen, you select this, include computer sound. And so what that's going to ensure is that when you're playing the YouTube video you're sharing your screen and playing the YouTube video, the audio will play through through the web conference, and they'll be able to hear the audio through the YouTube video as you're sharing your screen as well. So another option for sharing content down below is the PowerPoint. And so it will pull some common PowerPoints that you already have loaded here, but you can also browse from your computer or browse from your OneDrive. So you'll be able to click on your OneDrive and then pick a PowerPoint that you already have loaded to share. Or if you have it on your computer, you can go to share content and then browse computer, and then you'll just be able to pick it from your computer. All right, so right now I am sharing my PowerPoint that I've selected from my computer. Now notice I am seeing what is typical of a PowerPoint, which is the presenter view. So if I had notes on my PowerPoint, I'd be able to see them here. I'd be able to preview my slide deck through here. And this is what's typical when you're in a classroom setting and you go to share your PowerPoint. The others on the receiving end, so those in the audience that I'm sharing this with, they are just seeing the slide itself. They're only seeing this part. I'm seeing the presenter view. And again, the point of that is letting me see any notes I have or letting me see any slides I have coming up. Now, if I want to see exactly what they see, I can change that by coming here to More Actions and choose Hide Presenter View. And that's going to let me see exactly what the students or what the people on the other end are seeing. So when they're in, they're just seeing that one slide versus I can see the presenter view if I like. Also, another setting that you might choose is up here in the top. This prevents participants from moving through the presentation on their own. So if I select this, it's going to stick them to whatever slide I'm sharing with them. It's going to show them only that slide. If not, what it's going to do is allow them to actually move forward through the different slides. And one drawback to that is they could potentially be on a slide that you're not on and get confused as to where we are in the presentation. All right, so then I can stop presenting with that. And that's going to take us back to our main area. So the last type of sharing of content I would like to show, and again, that's up here in the share content, is going to be, we've talked about the screen, we've talked about the PowerPoint. Now let's talk about the collaborative whiteboard. So I'll select it. And it's going to load a blank whiteboard for me. When the host opens this whiteboard, you will have the option. Do you want to present only the whiteboard so only you can edit, or collaborate where everyone can edit? So I'm going to choose to collaborate so that everyone can edit. Now there might be a case into which I decide later on, you know what, I really don't want everybody to edit this one. I just want them to be able to see it. And so you can change that setting by coming here and sliding this on or off depending on when you would like for them to edit or not. So in this case, it's a typical whiteboard, so I can grab the pen, I can write with the pen, and my students are able to see it on their screens. We also have the text tool, and we also have the shapes tool, which will allow you to perhaps draw out shapes and create what might be like a graphic organizer of some kind, or a flow chart, or that kind of thing. So you can create those. Now, if I have it so that others can collaborate, they can also use the pen to write or draw, and that will appear. Now, one thing that you have to take in kind of consideration is this is one large canvas. I'm scrolling in and out with my mouse, and so depending on where you're writing, you may have to move your mouse around, or move your area around to be able to see exactly what they're writing. You can also save this when you're complete by going to the export image, and it will export this entire whiteboard component as an image and save it so that you can maybe post it in your class later or share it later, just so that it's available. And when you're finished sharing the content, you can simply choose Stop Presenting, and it will take you back to the main area. There may be the case when you need to mute someone in the session. Maybe they have their audio or video on and you want them to stop. Or it might be the case where you need to promote someone to the presenter role so that they're able to share their content. So you can do that under the show participants. So beside the name of the attendee, I can come beside their name and I can disable their microphone, mute the participant if they weren't already mute, or just completely disable it to where they can't turn it on, and then disable their camera so that they cannot turn it on, or I can make them a presenter, which promotes them into being able to share their content. Now that would be for an individual person. If the case arises that you need to completely take the microphone off for everyone or completely take the video off for everyone, you can come choose here and then go to the meeting options and take away the attendees and the video or microphone for all attendees. So lastly, we have the Breakout Rooms feature, and that's up here at the top as well. So when we choose Breakout Rooms, we select the number of rooms we want to create, and then we can either choose to allow teams to randomly assign people to those particular rooms, or we can choose to manually assign people to those rooms. So in this case, I chose to where I wanted to manually assign them. So then I come into the assign participants and I'm able to click beside this person and I'm able to assign them to a room. So I click beside them, choose assign, and then pick the room I want them to go into. Now I can also add more rooms if needed. If maybe I decide I need another extra room, room 3, I can add in another room, and it will create that for me. And then when I'm ready to start the actual breakout rooms, I just choose start rooms, and it's going to move everybody into those breakout rooms. So now we see that the people are in their rooms. These two are currently closed because no one's in those rooms. No one's been assigned to them. But we see that this one's open, and if I click in, I see that these two people are in the meeting in that breakout room. So if I want to pop in and see what they're doing, I'm able to come beside the name of the room and choose join that room. Notice I could rename the room if I wanted to, as well as close it. But in this case, as the presenter or as the host of the session, I want to come in their room. So it's going to open up in a smaller tab and it'll say room 1 or whatever the room has been named. And here it's like a room within a room. So I'm able to share content through here. I'm able to use the text chat through here. I'm able to do all of the different things that I'm able to do in the main room, but it's just a room within a room. So in this case, one of the people in the room might choose to start the recording, and that would be the recording for this particular room itself, not for the entire main room that we were in earlier, just this particular room. And then we can start to have conversations. And again, only the people in this room are able to see it. So only the people assigned, as well as myself who joined the room, are able to participate and see what's in the room. So then from here, I'm able to share different things. I'm able to view different things. I'm able to pretty much have a session onto myself. So in this case, we have a whiteboard going on, and this is within the room 1 itself, so the smaller room. So I'm coming in and I'm writing, and again, only those people in this room that were added into the room are able to see this and to hear it and participate in it. So let's say that I've done what I needed to do in room 1. I can choose to leave that room, and that will take me back to this main area, and I can choose maybe to go to a different room, join another room that students are in. So basically I'm moving around the room, moving into each individual room and participating and having a discussion and facilitating what those individual people are doing in the room themselves. So when I'm ready for everyone to come back into the main room, I can choose to close the rooms and then resume here. So I'm going to choose to close those rooms. And that's going to move everyone back into the main meeting room. All right, so everyone's back into the main meeting room. Now, there may be that I would like to start the breakout rooms again and go back and start the rooms again and have people go to their same rooms. Or it might be that I want to create new rooms. And in that case, I can come and move people around and assign them to another room if I want them to go into another room. So there is the option for starting and stopping breakout rooms throughout the entire session. So lastly, we have the leaving option. So notice up here at the top, I have two options for leaving. I have leave or end meeting. It might be that I just want to leave the meeting, but to let the other guests continue with the meeting. And in that case, I can just leave. If I want to end the meeting for everyone, I can choose end meeting. So know that you can leave the meeting without shutting everyone else out. If maybe you have to go to another call, you can just let them be, let them continue, and you just leave the meeting. Now, when you leave the meeting rather than end it, it also gives you the ability to go back into the meeting. And so maybe I just need to leave for a couple of minutes to take a phone call, and then I'm going to allow these two members to continue on with the meeting, and then I can come right back in and pick up where we left off. Now, if I want to end the meeting for everyone, we're completely done, then I will do the end meeting, and that will end the meeting for everyone. After the meeting has ended, there's a couple of neat things you can do as well. So you can log back into your Teams area and go to Calendar and open up that calendar invite that you initially had. Then you'll be able to go to the chat area up here at the top, and you'll see that it will have preserved some information that will be helpful to you. One of them is the Attendees Report. So you'll be able to open this up. It will open up as an Excel file, and it will actually show you who was in attendance in the meeting. So it'll show you when the meeting started and ended, as well as who attended and when they were in there, their email, and what role they played. It will have also recorded the chats that you had, so the couple of text chats that we had going on will be located there. It'll also give you a link to the notes that we were taking in the meeting. It will also give you a link to that recording if you recorded your session, so you'll be able to open it up. And it will open up, it will have been added to your SharePoint, and so you'll be able to play it from there. And at the beginning of the session, it will actually show you all the main date details, and it will have recorded everything that occurred during the session. And so you can play it from there. What's also beneficial is you can choose to download it to your computer, to download the recording to your computer, or you can choose to share that information, and you can share it to a specific team, or you can copy the link. You can choose the different privileges to where only specific people have access to this video. You can change it to people with Gordon State have access to the video to where they have to log in. So you can make different changes here for who will be able to view that video. You can also make it to where they can just view the video and not make changes to it, or they can actually make changes to the video. So this will give you the link. You can copy that link and post it in D2L, send it via email, post it in an email or a Word document or whatever you want to do to share it with those people to be able to view that video. This is particularly helpful if someone needs to view this video that was not a participant in the group, or they're not a participant in the team if you have the team itself set up. Now, if you have chosen to create a team for this group and you recorded through the team, the individuals that were in the meeting will be able to go back to their team's area and be able to go to general, and they'll actually be able to get to the recording themselves. So if it's in a team and you've done the recording, the team members can actually get to the recording themselves. It's only if this was just a one-off meeting, you didn't have a team created, you just created it from, say, your web calendar, your Microsoft Outlook calendar, you need to go in and actually get the link and send it to the individuals that they need the recording link. So in a nutshell, that is how you create and host a web conference meeting using Microsoft Teams.